So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the gear that I'm going to be taking on the Appalachian Trail. I've been getting a lot of questions from folks out there about what I'm going to be having in my bag to keep me alive over the course of this journey. So what I'll do is I will unpack the bag as I'll have it packed, lay it all out here so you can take a look at all of it and talk to you about some of those specific pieces. So first, these water bottles. Smart water bottles, pretty much standard for everyone they use out there. I'll filter my water directly through the water filter into those bottles and carry them around. Got the CNOC water filter here on the side, easily accessible, so that we can grab it whenever you come across a water source. Also on the side of my pack, right here, the Sawyer Squeeze. Not the mini due to the flow rate that a lot of other folks have complained about, but super lightweight and handy. And all those things will screw right together so that you can filter your water right there on the side of the trail. Also have the hose attachment for it so we can do some gravity feed on the side. If I wanted to eat lunch while I'm filtering water, you can hook the hose between the CNOC and the Sawyer and just filter the water directly into your bottles there. Also have some soap in case you need to wash something on the side of the trail, and I also keep my tripod there in the side pocket. In the front pocket, for handy reference, earplugs, mask, because you know it's still COVID-y out there, hand sanitizer, pocket knife, chapstick, because everybody needs some chapstick, and a pair of headphones. On the front of the pack, I have another water bottle holder. I've found it's awfully difficult to pull the water bottles out of the side pockets of this particular pack, so I got the water bottle holder from Laurel Mountain Designs. The other front pocket is just used to store snacks, which we'll need out there on the trail, obviously, so you don't have to keep digging in your pack to get snacks. On the other side pocket, I've got all my winter gear that I'll need to grab really quickly. So what do I have in here? A pair of light gloves. This amazing Outdoor Research down beanie, which is super warm. Merino wool balaclava, again, because it'll be winter, want to stay warm. And also a pair of wool glove inserts. And these gloves are also Laurel Mountain Designs. These are the windbreaker gloves. Great, keeps your hands nice and waterproof when you're out there walking in the rain. On the main back pocket, I have trail shoes, just standard Crocs. Always have to have Yoda along with you for the ride. At least that's what my daughter thinks. Also have a pair of Columbia rain pants. In the back pocket, the Outdoor Research Helium rain jacket. I also have a pair of micro spikes. We've been getting a lot of snow as of late. I've been debating back and forth about carrying these, but because of the weather that I think we're going to have, especially going through the Smokies, these are going to be pretty critical. Again, if it looks like I'm not going to need them, these are one of the first things that'll get mailed back also. And also have the TP kit there for easy access. Also on the outside of the pack, have the Garmin Inreach. It's a great place to keep it, just hooked here on the pack so that it's easily within reach and you can hear any messages if they come in. And it also makes it extra safe so that my family knows where I'm at, all on the trail. All right, now digging into the main part of the pack. This is just a basic electronics kit. We have 20,000 milliamp battery and all the various chargers that we need. I've gone back and forth on whether or not to carry a big camera on this. My Canon camera did not perform super well in the cold a couple weeks ago, so if I do end up bringing it, I'll have it sent to me later on once it gets a little bit warmer, because I don't want to have to carry around the camera that keeps freezing up out there on the trail. So we'll just be using my iPhone for the time being. Next in there we have our Thermarest pad. Inside of its blow-up sack. Blows up nicely with the sack really quickly. I can do the whole thing in probably 3 or 4 minutes now once I hit camp. This is the cooking kit. Have it rubber banded shut, which is super handy. It's just a Trox titanium pot. with lighter and a really small titanium stove. Super handy right there off Amazon. The piece on the outside is basically just to insulate it. So if I do decide to cook any of the food inside my pot itself, like ramen, I can just pour the ramen directly in here, put this covering on the outside, and this will keep it insulated and help the ramen or the potatoes continue to cook and stay warm, especially in the winter. All right, tent stakes for the Gossamer Gear tent. Next is my sleeping system. Inside the Hyperlight stuff sack is my new Enlightened Equipment Revelation 20-degree quilt. This thing is quite possibly the warmest quilt I've ever had. Had 3 or 4 of them, different quilts over the years, and this has been the warmest one by so far. A pillow. This is probably one of the luxury items, but I've discovered after trying many times I could not sleep on the ground without a pillow. So this is the Philo Elite. Super cozy, blows up really quickly, and is really soft. Gives a much better night's sleep. And I also have the Sea to Summit liner. As many folks know, you sleep inside this liner. It keeps it a little bit warmer, but also what you're getting is it keeps your sleeping bag a lot cleaner because you're going to build up a fair amount of stench out there on the trail. And rather than having to wash your sleeping bag, you can just wash the sleeping bag liner whenever you do laundry, which is super handy. Okay, so that's the sleep system. All right, let's keep digging and see what we find. All right, next is my Gossamer Gear tent. This is the 2. A lot of folks debate between a 1-person and 2-person tent. I settled on the 2 just to have a little bit more interior space. Again, if it was a different time of year or a different trail when I didn't necessarily need as much space, indoor space to just store your stuff and keep it dry in the rain, I may have gone with the 1. But because the AT, known to being rainy, also leaving the time of year I'm leaving, I wanted to have a little bit more interior room to store all my gear to make sure it stayed nice and dry. So I picked up the Gossamer Gear 2. Really enjoying this tent so far. This is just a cork ball. I use this to stretch out at night, just for recovery, things like that. And then continue to dig. In here, this pod has all of my extra clothes, things like that. So I have a regular green puffy, 800 down fill, Under Armour top and bottom base layer. This will be to sleep in. We'll probably downgrade to something a little bit thinner and lighter again as it gets warmer, but want to make sure we stay nice and warm out in February and March in the mountain. Continuing on, trying to get everything as light as possible, but also want to make sure that you're able to deal with the elements. So I have a pair of compression socks, which are good for recovery around camp. Want to make sure you keep your swelling down after a long day of hiking, so I use those. These are waterproof sock liners. I've walked in them quite a bit. They definitely keep your feet warm and dry, but then you also start sweating on the inside. But the bottom line is if you're going to be out there in the elements, you want to make sure you're as warm as possible to avoid hypothermia. To add a little additional insulation between the ground and the bottom of the pad, and this helped a lot when I tested this out a couple weeks ago, is this Gossamer Gear 1/8" foam pad. In addition to being used as insulation between the ground and the pad, it is stuffed inside the pocket on the back of the Hyperlight pack, and it gives a little bit extra padding between your back and and whatever you have stuffed in your bag. And you can also pull this out during the day, use it as a sit pad, and it gives you something to sit on at camp. So it's a multi-purpose piece of equipment. So very inexpensive, but super convenient and very light. Okay, there you have it. Those are all the things that I'm going to be carrying in my pack for my 2,000-mile hike from Georgia to Maine. Hope it gives you a better idea of the kind of gear that I'll be carrying, what I'll be using some of it for, and some of the things that I'm just going to have to send home along the way as the weather changes. If you like this content, be sure to keep following along because the journey starts here in a couple of weeks.